just to roll it. Expensive riding, what I call it.
Oh, BMW has that one that is like cross country, right? That the comfortable ones. Those are a good bike, right?
Cross country, yes. That's
Yeah,
correct.
they're using a lot of the BM. Like they're using. I've seen a lot of videos where people are doing like cross country, even across like traveling through the world, and they use a BMW.
Yeah, good tourists. But I used an Africa Twin, the Paris Dakar replica, to travel the world, and it performed better than the BMW as far as I'm concerned, and cheaper.
And it's cheaper.
And cheaper as well. Yeah, because the bike is cheaper, very economical. Yeah, BMW is just expensive biking. Period. You know, I don't want to.
They're pretty damn good. I had the R1200 GS that you're talking about. And it was amazing. It was like it's space age stuff. So good.
Yeah, but
you travel a lot, eggshells?
Yeah, I did top to bottom on India on a Enfield Bullet, and then I did owned for like 2-3 years an R1200 GS that I did a 3,000 kilometer journey through Europe on. And then let me find a clip from my old channel. Did a lot of trips on it, particularly for off-road. The R1200 GS, as Jin's saying, it is crazy expensive.
And then what happened? You got married or something, or?
No, I just came to Australia and got a different bike. Now I've got 3 different ones, but I prefer.
So what are the cheaper competitors then to that model?
Well, it depends. There's a lot cheaper, but like it has many others only have ABS, but the ABS will absolutely fuck you up on gravel. Like if you are on loose surface, you will be going downhill and just straight up not able to brake. You hit the brakes and the wheels keep turning because it doesn't want to lock the wheels up. And there's no traction control for putting on the throttle for many of the bikes, whereas that one, like, it's 1200cc, so it's about as much power as a small car. So it's got all sorts of really good traction control and stuff. It can sense how much you're slipping and give you the right amount of slipping and stuff. So it's almost bad because it just lets you get into really unsafe habits because the thing it's really good. Whereas, if you get a bike that's cheaper, you can get them just as much power and all that kind of stuff for like that. The Africa Twin Jin's talking about, beast of a bike, really good bike.
But they just make it an easier time of the whole thing, right? They just easier to use.
Yeah, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. It's that you're getting a lot of technology, which really you don't really need. Is my point. You don't really need all that technology. You know, the anti-braking and the traction control.
But it makes the whole traveling journey less stressful, right?
Not necessarily. No, not at all.
I think. Well, I kind of on both of your sides there. I think the problem for me with all of the technology is it made me really unsafe. So I've gone from this thing with all this traction control to a bike that is just bog standard, zero traction control, not even ABS, and I had to like relearn how to brake. If you want to like, particularly because like the GS, if you just want to absolutely bomb it down a dirt road and go like 120 down a dirt road, not a problem. Like short of like overshooting a turn or something, it's just, whereas for most other bikes, because they'll start to get squirrely and then lose it.
Not really.
It's really chill if you want to go really long distances, but Africa Twin's a more fun bike. I don't know.
What is the price? What is the price on a BMW though?
The new R1200 GS, they're like about as much as a car. Let me find out. What you're in America, aren't you, Silent Zero?
Yeah.
They're a small fortune, man. Small fortune. You know, like
I just sell one of the kids, mate.
Yeah, 19. So between 19 and 20,000.
Oh, not bad.
Not bad. That's expensive, mate.
Yeah.
Come on.
So it's like surely Honda doesn't make a similar. Honda doesn't make a similar model.
They do the 1800 Tourer, the Goldwing. Their version of a Tourer is the Goldwing. You know, right? which is
that's the big Cadillac looking bloody thing, right?
There you go. Yeah, with all the technology on that. Yeah,
it's not as off road though.
Wouldn't you say the new Africa Twin, Jin, is pretty good competitor to it, because it's got a fair bit of the traction control and bling, and it's 14,000.
There you go. Yeah, and then for me, I wouldn't even buy that particular model. I would go back in time because they build better bikes than that. I wouldn't buy today's Africa Twin. If I'm going to buy an Africa Twin, I'm going to buy the older model from the 90s when Paradaka Rally was at its highest. That's the model I'd be looking for. Not this new one.
The interesting thing that Yamaha did recently, where they went into the medium bikes market. So everybody went big adventuring bikes like these ones, like big displacement engines. And then they were like, and then people were like, oh, they're fun, but you don't ever really, like, I twice maybe rinsed the full horsepower out of my bike. It's so crazy powerful that if you roll full throttle, even if you're already going like, 40, 50 miles an hour and you just suddenly blip onto full throttle, it'll have to turn the traction control on. It's too powerful. And when you get off-road, you're then lumbering around with like a 200 kilo bike. So they went into the mid-range market. And interestingly, what Yamaha did with the Tenere 700 was just delete all of the tech. So you've got bog standard, I think you might have to have ABS brakes by Australian law, but none of the traction control, none of that like fancy gizmos and power mapping and any of that bullshit. It's just a really good bike, but it's pretty nuts and bolts.
You see, that kind of thing where you have to have ABS as a standard by Australian law is just bollocks. That's like overreach, to be quite honest, because you don't really need ABS. A good motorcyclist a good motorcyclist can stop his or her bike with a standard drum brake for the really old bikes, or even the standard disc brake without the ABS, and work perfectly on single disc, double disc, or even triple disc. Yeah,
because I had it on my KTM 690, and I took it off road a couple of times, and you've got to remember to unless you get a dongle, like buy an extra piece and install it yourself, you have to turn off the ABS every time you turn on the bike again. So I was like doing an enduro, like single track riding with my mate, and we went off road and then like stopped for a bit of food, and I got back on and was going down a like gravel scree slope, and I'm trying to get brake, and it won't give me any brake. I was like, fuck, what is going on? Nearly died. It was pretty sketchy.
This is it. This is the thing with the ABS thing. It's the more technology that you have that is really unnecessary, the more expense and the more things to go wrong, and it needles you. So you've got to keep the bike as pure as possible. And the sports bikes today are coming out with these ABSs and traction control, and then you can buy the same bike without it. So I'll always go for the one without it, because I can handle the bike at high speed, brake, and turn on the 6 minutes in wet weather. So I've got no worries. I don't need ABS to assist me. I don't need that assistance.
I'm with you on that. I'm trying to find a pic of my new one, but my new one like hasn't had an update since the 80s. 96, I think they last updated it. So like whenever you're looking for bike parts, same as with car parts really. And it's like, which model do you have? And you might give you like 2000 to 2001 or something, or like 2020 to 2022 model. And this one is just like 1996 to today. For the last 30 years, we haven't done anything to this vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my son, I advised him he was going to buy his bike, and I said, okay, you've got a choice. He knows you got the CBR 400RR or the Honda RVF 400 V4. Right, they're the ones you want to choose. Right now, those two bikes were the best 400s ever made. Clean, they don't rust, they perform. Once you remove the restriction that they put in them, and you get the full power out of them, they are magnificent. And today's 400s can't even come close. The technology, even though they reckon that they've improved it, these new ones, they're lighter, but really, they're nothing compared to this. And we're going back 90s. Going back just to the 90s then, the technology that was involved in producing the bike he got, RVF 400 RR V4, brilliant bike. Absolutely tremendous fun, cheap, because it's older now, so you don't have to spend big money to get it. And he's not looking back, he's happy, knowing full well that he's riding the best 400 on the road today, which was built years ago.
Particularly because we got these. I've just posted my one, DR650, because you can go around the world and like, yeah, it's like standard bolts, it's standard everything. Like if you're out of something, you're going to find it locally rather than basically crate up your bike and say goodbye to your world trip or wait there for 3 months while they post you some part.
Purist. I'm what's known as a purist. There's more of us out there like that. Loads of us are purists. We don't like too much technical intervention into the ride as such. Keep it as basic as possible. Less things to go wrong. That's why if you are really a connoisseur of motorbikes and you just want to bang for buck without having to do much expense, then the XR 600, 650 Honda, you can't go wrong. The military use it. It's kick and go. You don't even have a key to put the ignition to switch on. It's just a switch off and on only. Kick, go. You've only got a headlight and a tail light. That's it. You just kick it, brah, brah, and you're going over all manner of stuff off-road. Best bike I ever rode, the XR 600 and the 650. Wicked machine.
Yeah. I would have gone an XR 650, but they stopped making them, so I just didn't trust that they would keep making parts where the DR 650 is pretty close in that territory, and they are still making them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, but you can source the parts all around the world. Go on eBay and places like that, and you'll find what you need. If it gets to that point, here in Japan, they actually, if you needed a part, right, they'd look on the computer even around the world to try and get it for you. So you don't even have to do it yourself if that's the case. But yeah, you know, I'll always go for simplicity and pure than high tech. I just think it's just they've got to sell their bikes these days. So whatever technical advancements they bring up in the racing world, then they're obviously going to slap it onto these bikes that are coming on being produced today. So fine, but do you really need it? No, to be quite honest. That's me anyway. You know, I don't really need ABS.
Yeah, particularly because it teaches really, really bad braking habits.
Yeah,
I don't know. If you want a nice bike and you're doing like straight up round the world, I can get why people do it, you know, because often it's a middle-aged person. They've got a chunk of cash to burn. They don't want to fix the bike, because that's the other thing. Like, of the people who go round the world on the BMWs, they are like, the vast majority of them are like, yeah, I had to fix flats, but that is the only problem I had. That and a fuel filter is the only other one that people talk about. Whereas anybody who goes on KTMs and Suzukis and everything else is like, no, you'll spend 3 weeks of your trip at different points and places, stopped and trying to fix the thing. Whereas the GS is such a beast of a bike; it just keeps going.
I've travelled all around the world and I've had nothing go wrong. Although I did have one problem in Spain when I bought the Africa Twin, which was I bought the demonstration model Africa Twin from Honda. So it didn't have more than a couple of 100 miles on it because it was just a demonstration model, back in 1990, I would have to say. And then I went with my girlfriend to Morocco, but we got to Spain, and then I was experiencing engine cutout, right? And then I discovered what it was that the fuel pump stopped working. So I became the fuel pump. I had to actually physically blow the fuel into the carburetors because they're two, and then I'd get about 5 miles, and then I would have to do that all over again, all the way from Santander to Madrid. When I got to Madrid, when I went to Honda in Madrid, asked them to check the problem, and they came back and said, yeah, and a gasoline de bamba. So gasoline pump, the petrol pump. Gasoline de bamba, kaput. I said, oh, okay. And I showed my Honda membership card, which means that anywhere around the world, you will be served proper, you get the service. So what they done was they took the petrol pump off of the display model in the shop. Yeah, they took the pump of the display, the one they're going to sell in the shop, and then I gave them my card, and they took all the numbers and signatures. I signed it so that then they could then fix my bike, so I could keep on going. I gave them a £60 tip for that, because had they not have done that, the journey would have ended. But that was the only problem I had then on a new bike, virtually new bike. It does happen, you know. But other than that, though, I've had no other problems traveling around the world, and I've put oh bloody, I can't imagine, hundreds of thousands of miles on bikes, and nothing really. The odd puncture, but that's not a big problem. Flat tires, nothing. I ride my bike with a flat tire to the nearest garage. Yeah. I also discovered that one time I had a nail in my tire. I went to a place called Peterborough, and the nail came out, and then the tire deflated, putting me into a speed wobble. I came off the motorway up onto the side road, slip road, off the motorway onto a country lane, petrol station, Mobile petrol station. I pulled in there, and the first thing they said, we don't fix bikes, because, you know, the petrol station bikers, they don't get on in England, right, at that time. We don't fix bikes. I goes, yeah, I know. I know you don't. Can you tell me where the nearest bike shop is? If you go that way, 5 miles, it's there, but it's closed, it's lunchtime. And if you go that way, there's another bike shop about 5 miles, but it's closed, it's lunchtime. And I had to deliver this package, you see, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, what do I do, man? So I walked back to my bike thinking, right, I've got about, 45 minutes before the shop's open. And as I'm looking down, I'm looking at a screw. And then I had that eureka moment. I thought, right, if I screw this in the hole where the nail come out, at the speed I'm traveling at, it won't come out because those ridges. So I did that. I asked for a hammer, screwdriver, thank you very much. Tapped the nail in, the screw in, screwed it in, inflated the tire, put a glob of spit over the head of the screw. There was a little bit of going on, screwed it in a little bit, and it stopped. And I said to the guys I'd fixed it. So ever since that day, I always carry some screws in my toolkit. Only works on a tubeless tire. That's a tire that doesn't have an inner tube. Sports bikes tend to have no inner tube. Off-road bikes have an inner tube. Once it's punctured, you're done. You've got to get a new inner tube.
My wife has an inner tube.
Yeah. So if you get a puncture on an inner tube, you have to replace the inner tube. There is no escape. But if you have a puncture on a tubeless tire and you have a screw, you can remove the offending nail or whatever that's punctured your tire, put a screw in there, okay, and then inflate it more than the recommended pressure, because it may leak a little bit, you never know, and then that will see you through to your destination until you can get it repaired. So yeah, I did that. I did 3 days on it and then got it repaired at the end of the week. So yeah, I learned some lessons there. DIY, journeys around the world and across Britain, surviving. Yeah. But yeah, biking is the next best thing to flying.
Yeah, I do love it. Better go to bed. Planning another trip this weekend. Need to be well slept.
Yeah. I had a Jamaican friend who had the BMW LTD, which is the ones the police ride, you know, with all the fairing and the panniers and everything. And one time he was financially strapped and he couldn't afford to service the bike because it's like £500 to service every time you put the bike in for a service in BMW. But they go through everything, fine tooth comb. You're getting the top-notch service, you know. That's why it's expensive. That's why I call it expensive biking. But he couldn't afford it this time. I said to him, I can service your bike for you. You can service a BMW? Yeah, I can do your BMW for you. Why not? I'll do it outside your house. And he was living in a place called Wandsworth, southwest London, southwest 18. So I went down there.
Near where I live, true bit.
Yeah. So I went to Wandsworth, went to his house, and his wife was saying, "Are you going to service this bike?" I said, "Yeah, no problem, man." Yeah, and I took everything down, and I said, as long as you get the parts you need, I'll fit them. And he did that. He got the oil filter, got the spark plugs, air filter. That's all that was needed there. I didn't have anything to check, sort of like the timing meters. Now that's what I didn't have there, right? But the bike was okay anyway. You know, it was always regularly serviced, so it wouldn't matter much. But I replaced all those parts for him and that, and I saved him about £300 in bills. So he gave me £50 tip. I said, yeah, cheers, nice, thanks for that. And he was surprised that it could be done outside his house. Because up until that point, you know, he was BMW all the way. He still is today, but he was just surprised at what could be done at the doorstep, you know, if you've got the right tools and you've got the mind to do it for yourself. Yeah, man, did it all. He was going to change the transmission. I said, before you change it, let's see if it's dirty first. It was as clean as a whistle, so there's no point in changing that. So you don't need that to change. Keep that for another time. Because it's a shaft drive, isn't it? The BMW is a shaft drive.
This is a good clip. This is my missus binning it. I'll post the link for it.
Yeah.
It's the toughest crash I've seen her do.
Yeah. I do like a shaft drive bike though.
Yeah.
It's really smooth, isn't it? Shaft drive.
Yeah, really smooth. You don't have that lag between like engine braking and good power delivery, and you don't have to worry about the chain. Like I'm having to constantly grease and fix the chain.
Oh well, yeah. I'm lubricating the chain every 3 days, sort of thing. But I don't use a spray lube. I use a toothbrush and silicone grease. Is what I use. So you don't get all that splatter all over your wheel, because my wheels are orange, and I don't want them to get the all that grease all over the wheel. So I use a silicone grease. I use a toothbrush to toothbrush it in. But yeah, a shaft drive's really nice.
I haven't had to lubricate my own chain since I started dating.
I was wondering, what was the one about lube before? I'd service her out the front of my house. I was like,
that's a good one, actually.
Service her out the front of your house.
On the doorstep. Yeah. And this is where you start to feel proud that you bought a certain model, and you know, pride of ownership comes in because you're doing all this stuff to keep it tip top, so that you don't harm yourself or anyone else for that matter. Because
that's pride of work.
Enjoy your trip, mate.
Yeah. Yes, pride of work, exactly. Workmanship. Yeah.
Better go to bed. Night, guys.
Have you ever done an engine rebuild? Have you ever done that? Done an engine rebuild on a bike?
No. Most I've ever done is help out while somebody adjusts the valves. That's the deepest I've been.
I've done a complete engine rebuild. Yeah, when I say complete engine, just the piston rings. That's all. Didn't have to do the valves.
I helped
loss of
somebody
compression.
else do it, but I didn't really do hands-on much. I was sort of passing tools and stuff for putting a new piston sleeve in.
Yeah, single cylinders work quite hard really, because it's only one piston. Yeah, so the things that tend to go quickly are the overhead cam. Unless you've got a double overhead cam, then you might be spared a little bit of longevity. But the overhead cam goes, and with that means you may as well replace the head as well. But generally, the bore and the pistons is the common thing that go as well eventually, and that also needs to replace. And that happened to me on my 350 Suzuki DR. Blue smoke coming out the back of the exhaust. Blue oily smoke. Signaled, yep, time for a rebuild. And lucky for me, I was always well in. I'm always well in with the bike shops that I frequent for parts and things. So I can always say, "Can I use the back of your shop to?" Yeah, go ahead. Wheel it in. There you go. And start stripping down. And then I've got access to tools and that. And if something's a bit stiff and they can give me a hand. If I can't quite get it out, That's the other advantage.
There's a joke there too.
Yeah. I've got to choose my words carefully with you lot. I see. Speak carefully, Jim. being misconstrued.
I think someone's deprived, Jim. That's why.
Think?
Oh, well, hey, it seems to be very prominent, mate. Just a thought.
The joys of owning motorbikes and repairs and that. It's all good.
Small motors of all kinds, very interesting.
Hmm. I'm not too excited on the electric bike scene at the moment. That's coming. Purely because I feel that the... Yeah, go ahead.
I got myself a Suron, and it's pretty nice. It's amazing. Particularly like, yeah, I really like, I mean, I think they've got a little bit of a way to go. It's basically like a sort of about as powerful as a 125 maybe, but the amazing thing about it is it's instant torque. It is like unsettling. You've got to relearn all of your throttle control, because it is like when, like, I've done a bit of trials riding as well, only the tiniest bit. And with all other bikes, even trials bikes, are little two-strokes, you've got to spin up the engine to get it into its power band. Whereas with an electric bike, you've got like 100% of your power the moment you twist the throttle. So whether that be at 0 speed or full speed, you can always get as much power as you want on demand. And that makes it really cool for some bits. So I've been like taking mine sometimes off to like little gnarly tracks. And yeah, for road riding, like the major advantage is just going to be not spending money on fuel. But, you know, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be quiet?
You've still got to charge it up, though. You've still got to charge it up, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I forgot my charger, went up to the farm for a weekend, got to the farm, was like, shit, I've forgotten my charger. Still had a pretty good ride over 2 days and came back with 25%.
Yeah, still got to charge up, though. That's the thing. I think I'd miss the kickstart. I'd miss the kickstart of the bike and then the bike coming to life. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a human being.
My old Enfield had a kickstart. I used to quite like that too.
Yeah.
No, just feeling that whir would be awesome. The silent whirring power.
Yeah. And the fact, what I'm trying to figure out to do next is get my recurve bow, like get a backsling or something for it, because it is so quiet that like when I'm on particularly on my Suzuki, because I've got a like pretty open exhaust, it's like pop, 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 pop. So I never get to see any of the animals around the farm, like just sheep and cattle and the odd roo from a distance. But when I've gone on my electric bike, you'll sneak right up on a wombat. Like it'll suddenly be like, the fuck you doing there? How did you get here? Because it just goes, it's like crunching and like cracking of twigs and stuff, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hear you a mile away. So I'm like, I think it could be good fun.
Yeah, you could just creep around.
Ambush bow hunting stuff.
I think in the last 5 years or so, 8 years, they've introduced it into the Isle of Man TT. John McGuinness was like the leader of riding the electric bikes, but then they handed it on to like what's the Maverick, the other guy from up north, the truck driver. I've forgotten his name now. Really nice guy, Guy Martin. That's it, Guy Martin. Really nice guy, placid, you know, good temperament. He's a downhiller. He loves downhill mountain bikes and that, and he's got his own truck business, which he took off his father, of course. He also rides these these electric bikes. So they've crept into the Isle of Man TT. Have you ever seen them?
No, but I've just pulled it up now that you're saying it.
Yeah, they do one lap, don't they? They do a lap of the Isle of Man TT. That's all they're good for, with the one charge at this point. But yeah, they're coming along slowly but surely. I think the one you might be looking at is called the Mugen, M-U-G-N, the Mugen. They are like a race performance manufacturers of parts and stuff. Mugen sponsorship.
I would love to stay up for motorbike chat. It's my favourite discussion, but I do better go to bed.
Yeah, fine. It's another sense of freedom, you see.
Wow, they sound like missiles. Those electric bikes going around the Isle of Man.
It was like you're riding a fucking missile too. Those guys are fucking nuts.
But they know that road so well, don't they?
Yeah.
I think they do.
Well, they pretty much have to.
Well, that's true. But at those speeds, you know, it fucking doesn't allow for much, does it? Shit. How many people have died doing that?
Oh, yes, it's been a few. Even the guy with the record, Joey Dunlop, you know, the best one ever. He died, didn't he? But he died in Austria. Actually, Austria road race in the rain, unfortunately. Joey Dunlop, the Ireland champion. Yeah, there's a kind of a bronze statue of Joey Dunlop, an Irishman. He's the guy that's won it the most, I think, maybe 20 odd times, 20 odd times. It's John McGuinness who's chasing that title. You know what he said? John McGuinness said that he would equal Joey Dunlop's title but not beat it if he ever gets that chance. He just wants to equal it and then retire. He doesn't want to beat it. Such was the like. They liked this man that much.
Yeah, respect, yeah.
Yeah. He rode Honda. Joey Dunlop's brother also died. He died at the Isle of Man TT. Not too long ago. And then Joey Dunlop's sons, they're quite prominent in the Isle of Man TT now. They've got a few wins under their belts.
Christ. I think they're genetically destined to just not live long.
Yeah. Can you imagine it? I'm going at breakneck speeds, literally, on those bikes on ordinary roads. Yeah. I used to love it myself, though. I used to, go at those kind of speeds myself in Britain. Hence why I got banned a couple of times. Accumulation of spot points. What did I do? I took my driving license again under an alias, so I could keep on the road. Yeah, don't give up, mate. Can't keep me down. Yeah. Takes a lot of guts, doesn't it, to do that? Go take your test under an alias, And then get a fine and then have to appear in court under an alias. But I did it.
They haven't done a motorbike version of Fast and the Furious, have they?
No.
Like the underground motorbike racing scene on the streets,
They probably have
sure
in Japan or somewhere, surely.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. They've done that in Japan, yes. They have in Japan, yeah. They have. Yeah. Yeah, well said that, man. Yeah, they've done it in Japan. But you're right, though. I mean, the closest we ever had was like Mad Max, I suppose, that I can remember off the top of my head. And then there was another one back in the 70s, I think, with Henry Fonda and that. All those guys riding Harleys and that. Do you remember that film? A couple of bike gangs and that. And in, what's his name? Clint Eastwood movies, Dirty Harry, I think. I think there was a couple of bike gangs in that. Mad Max with the young Mel Gibson. I remember I went to see that one.
Hey, I heard that Facebook was changing the meta tomorrow, and everything, your profile, your posts, your messages, like I guess everything's going to be public.
Yeah.
Without an option to change it, so I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Apparently, you can get away, or not get away with it, but stop that by, I don't know, posting something that tells them you don't permit them to do it.
I heard the name change is the only thing that's happening.
Okay, well, I don't know what's happening or whatever, but if that's even remotely true, I'm leaving like instantly. So
it'd be in
there
the
go all my
updated
memes,
terms, right? There'd be updated terms that you would have to agree to. They probably told you about.
Well, yeah, it was they had a public conference, right? And then in the last terms of agreements, it said that you agree to the next term of agreements. Proactively.
Wow.
So
I like it.
So what would that mean when all your private stuff will be I mean, how does that affect you?
Okay, so the only reason I still have a Facebook account is because I can set everything to private. That way, no job, no snooping person. Like, I can make my shit invisible where nobody can see my account. That's the only, and then I just use it to save links and share things with family and stuff. But I'm by no means intend any of it to be public for any reason.
Okay.
So if that's true, then its utility is lost. I need to convert it or something.
I don't think it's true. I think they're just changing the name.
Yeah, that's what I read. It was just changing the name. Yeah, that's what I heard in the news. Anyway.
Oh yeah, go with that then. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
The news. Ian, come on, mate.
Well, I mean, I haven't got a Facebook account, so I'm not too worried myself.
Good.
That's what I heard in the news about it. Yeah, I've never had one. I listened to Julian Assange right at the very beginning of when Facebook appeared on the scene. Julian Assange warned us not to subscribe to that because of all your privacy and all this nonsense. I thought, yeah, thanks for that. And it was connected to the CIA, he said. Connected to the CIA. I thought, oh, really? I don't want to CIA. No, my stuff, so no, I won't use that then.
Well, you have an account even if you don't have an account.
Yeah.
He's still in jail.
Yeah. They mine the metadata and they have a profile waiting for you to activate, basically.
Yeah.
As long as your email exists. What?
Go online and fire it up. Let's see what it looks like. See what they've got on Jin.
Yeah. I wonder what they got.
Well, it's on their back end. They don't show you, but they have a profile waiting for you to attach to your email or your phone number or whatever you decide to give to them.
Yeah, in the back end. It's always in the back end.
Yeah.
That's where all the good stuff is.
Yeah, they love the back end.
They always fuck you in the back end.
Oh, really? You had to go that far? You are deprived.
Yikes.
Or you're doing it wrong or
really
something.
not,
Jesus.
When you're when you're only like half listening to a conversation, then the innuendos just kind of like, they pop up.
Mm-hmm. You're like some young dog with the red rocket hanging out, are you? Just getting around. Ready to go.
My tongue's not the only thing sticking out.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Even that's
what is going on?
Harambe, relax.
That's what a red rocket is, mate. That's what a red rocket is, you turkey.
Beware of dog.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
No, he said dog.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, beware.
No, because he said deer.
Where's Carlos? Haven't heard from Carlos for a few days.
Probably got stoned and forgot about Discord. He'll be back tomorrow. Oh yeah.
You
Forgot
guys.
about Discord.
Well, I'm disappointed that no one else is going to comment on this bloody gunner guy, Master Gunner's bloody stuff. It's just strange. Whole new thing, and no one's fucking talking about it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that no one's interested now, but I'm sure if you raise it, if you bring it up in a couple of days or tomorrow, someone will bite, and because like the likes of Jeremy and that are not here tonight, or now, so just be patient, because the people who are going to get into that, they're going to get into it. Don't worry. No one's in the mood at the moment. I think that's what's been displayed at the moment here. That's all.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So but it will be touched upon. Believe you me. Just one of them things. Question of timing.
I'm proud of myself. I just did another in IRL troll.
What?
I just trolled some C19 mobile guys in real life again for the second day running. It was great.
Oh, right.
Yesterday I had a go at them at Asda. And when I came back today, they'd put a warning barrier with black and yellow stripes just outside the van where I was yesterday. But I saw them outside Asda hassling people. So I said, get back to your van area. You've got a new barrier now. Get behind your barrier. Leave these people alone. Then I just shouted, fake news. Get back to your fake news agenda van. Stay in your area.
Oh, well done, man. And who are these people? Sorry, I missed that.
It's Norwich City Council. So the van is owned by the Norwich City Council. It's been turned into a C19 mobile testing unit.
Oh, okay.
Each week they go to a different site.
Right.
And obviously use the test to change the numbers.
Right.
So their reason for being there is a spike in numbers. Them testing people at Asda obviously gives a spike in numbers. Easily debunked.
Yeah. Well done. Well done. That's it. Let them know they're not wanted.
Yes. Exactly what I did. I'm going to do it tomorrow as well.
Yeah. Now that's satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great. It was a little bit triggering yesterday on the first, but today it was more satisfying.
Yes, and I'm proud that you've done that. I'm proud of you.
We've just had laws passed here, or not laws, sorry, mandates passed here by the 30th of November. You must have had your first vaccination at least, or you can't work anymore. You're done.
Maybe more of a talkable topic. I also had a go at the 5G men who are installing cables really badly into our pavements. They've completely ruined the whole street and the whole estate. Every pavement now has a channel that they've drilled up in the middle of every pavement. That's like 6 inches to 12 inches deep, full of 5G cables. And now they've just asphalted over the top in a messy line. So every pavement's now got a weird 5G asphalt line on it. In a total mess.
A scar, isn't it? It's like a scar.
It looks completely ridiculous, and I hate it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I said to these workmen, look what you've done to the street. It looks ridiculous. You've ruined it. And two of them smiled. I doubt they even talk English, to be honest. They're like some new workman cult that's come onto the estate. Push 5G tech into the ground.
That's the UN troops in disguise, mate.
Yeah, maybe.
So they got no pride in their work there then?
No way. This is not about pride. This is about getting 5G just under the surface, even if it crumbles in the next year or two.
Yeah. Built-in obsolescence, so they can come back and maintain it. That's what that is.
No, they just need it in there quick to use it.
Well, yeah, there is that fact for sure. Yeah, they can't get it. They can't get it up quick enough.
No, they can't. That's a real concern.
And then I doubled down by writing on Facebook to 1,000 people in my city read it, or maybe 500. I named the two companies or types of workmen and said, "You are all a fucking disgrace."
Yeah.
5G pavement destroyers and mobile testing unit employees. You are all a fucking disgrace.
Why are we allowed to talk about that but not the other thing? Fucking bullshit. One conspiracy, that's okay, but not the other one. You're not allowed to talk about that conspiracy. Fucking crazy, isn't it?
They're literally treating us like children. You know?
It's because, I mean, I do get it away. When he first started his server, I literally was kicked and my entire account was taken for misinformation and anything that I had been speaking on. And it was just about vectors and stuff and what was happening. So, yeah, people are worried because a lot of people are getting their shit taken down for literally just speaking about this stuff because they don't want you to. So I understand that in ways. People know how I feel on, I don't care that it really should be spoken about no matter what, but I also respect this server and what he wants from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have that at least.
It's the same as 9/11, you know, right after 9/11 or right after Columbine. You can't do a live stream calling it all out. They'll take you down. They'll shut you down.
Did they say what they shut your account down for?
Misinformation. That's it, medical misinformation.
I wonder where, I mean, I don't even know. I guess maybe Brandon's the trolls there or something. I don't know. I'm not even on servers anymore, so.
When did they shut down your account, Stacey? When?
A while back now. It's been almost what now? I think it was like the 28th of last month.
A few months or something.
No, it's only been last month. Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's what you said, Stacey. I think it might be a few Globers.
Yeah, it's got to be trolls, man, because I post stuff all the time. Somebody, you must have maybe pissed something off. Or, oh, what if it was somebody in England?
It's the pro-vaxxers.
Trying to get you back or something.
Multi-report you.
Because I don't even know if the Glowers would report you. They love talking shit. Like every time I post something, they love to just like write a fucking book and just bitch at me. They wouldn't have anything to talk about if we'd stop posting it.
Well, I asked Discord for the medical misinformation or any misinformation I posted. You know, show me. What have I done? But they won't. Nope. And that's the end of it.
When they took my shit down, I emailed them and they just don't respond.
No, they don't do that.
Oh, they responded to me quick. Real quick the next day. I've had like 3 different conversations with them. And yeah, the first one was like, and they might contact the appropriate authorities.
What?
Like, really? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think it was, dude, okay. That was probably shit you posted online while you were in England. And it's probably somebody there because they wouldn't have done that shit here. Like, I think there's laws in England that prevent you from maybe saying some shit online. I don't know, man. I think it would probably be what's his name that you were staying with. Not Sven, the other guy.
Exactly, maybe. Possibility. I'm just trying to let that whole situation go completely like it's never happened. Skipping the breeze. But yeah, it's okay. Like I said, it just means that we're doing something right. Because what in the heck they want to shut you down for? And if you don't want to show me, then that shows me too that you ain't got shit on me. And I could back it up and defend myself. I should have the right to defend myself. It shouldn't be guilty, before proven. I'm sorry, before you even have a chance to prove yourself an innocent. There's no chance. It's ridiculous.
I don't know what I found out from a video. Apparently, that missing airline, you remember a few years ago? That airline went missing.
Yeah, something 13.
Apparently, it's something to do with the Rothschilds. And
yeah, there was some technology on the plane. There's like 13 or something engineers.
Yeah, all the engineers.
Right, and they all owned the patent. With the Rothschild, and then when so when they die, the patent goes to.
I always suspected something like this, but then when it comes up, that's confirmed, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course.
So can you explain that again? Because I didn't catch it properly. What happened? I know about the missing plane, but why was the plane missing?
Malaysia 13 or something like that. I forget the.
Yeah, wasn't it 370?
Maybe. I'm really sleepy, so excuse my. Maybe I sound dumber than I normally sound, but
drowsy. You sound drowsy. Whatever. Yeah, well, go on. So what happened? Dawn.
It turned out that a lot of the people on that missing plane are from a company to do with the Rothschilds that all had access to a certain patent of a new thing.
There we go. I linked it.
So they were taken out.
They were taken out, yeah? What?
It wasn't families being kidnapped. It's certain people from a certain company linked to the elites on the plane. Maybe a few civilians got taken out. Just part of it.
But yeah, that posted the Snopes explanation.
Oh, you're in the wrong text, Briggs. Find it.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not wrong.
I do want to say something. I almost said, but I can't really say something. So please, if you can understand what I'm saying here, I just woke up to you guys, but in kind of code, but don't go into it in detail. I just heard recently there was some kind of a function gig where children were hurt and killed from supposedly they ended up having heart attacks. 11 children. They were crushed in the beginning of the story and blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't want to go into exactly details, but what people should start thinking what those people had to do to go to that gig. And then 11 children.
Yeah.
Or not, I don't know if they're all children, but it's the fact that we are not asking those deeper questions.
They're not even fully counted them all yet. It's only 11 so far.
How could they not count them all?
Well,
right. If I was still right though, there was no crushing.
Haven't been counted.
It was a story of crush, but they went over this in the police, and there's no crushing. This is what I'm hearing.
They pushed from the back. It's set up. It's supposed to be like hedonistic hell, like one of those paintings. You go through the mouth, and then you're there trying to enjoy music but getting crushed at the same time. New special ritual they do. Yikes. A new Black Lucifer on stage singing with a codeine voice, and then you're getting crushed trying to listen. That's what it is.
Wow. Weird.
But does it usually end up being that someone suffers from a heart attack in that situation first?
Oh yeah, that they all cardiac arrest. You could explain that from crushing, but it is very suspicious. I agree. Almost like something was spiked as well, like the war or something.
Well, yeah, they're trying to use that as another maybe cover story too. That someone could have pricked him with something. We're not talking about that, guys. Not what you can't talk about, but you know what I mean. It could be someone spiked their drink. There's always different stories that people are coming up with. But in reality, it's like people start thinking deeper. What's happened? What do they all have to do? All those different things, because there's a correlation to all these people. Now, if there was something like, proof that this was an actual incident that they're saying, then maybe be a little different.
I've just been watching it this morning, Stacey. There's actually a Fortnite version where you can watch his concert in Fortnite as an avatar walking around. He's singing in the sky. And Fortnite's all purple and blue. This is how they get the kids involved.
Wow. Agendas everywhere. That's the world.
Okay, so the colors. Okay. There's been a discussion about this. Let me catch up to speed. And I noticed it first, I think, but I'm not sure. So here's what they do. So Nickelodeon, the television channel, they use slime, which is green, which means a new soul or something along those lines. And then as they get older into their teenage years, they use purple, like as if it's transmuting into a different color or something. Yeah. And then as they get older, it's black, which is the black goo. And you find this theme everywhere, that when they're younger, it's always some kind of green goo, and then it's purple when they're in their teenage years, and it's black when they fully consumed the propaganda of Satan, and they can be basically they're taken off the leash and they follow the principles without instruction. They're autonomous. It's like a glober. A glober is autonomous. They don't need to be told it's a globe. They already know it's a globe. They're autonomous. They come here and argue on their own. And so, it's interesting how like through that process, they're like grooming and using colors and symbols to kind of like signify that grooming process.
I think purple and the pink and glitter, that's all to do with accepting magic, like teenage years and then early 20s maybe. That's why Disney's all blue and purple. Stars and glitter and gold.
Yeah.
It's also a bit like dystopian with the neon lights,
Hey, I want to give thanks to Dr. One Up, who helped me put that puzzle together, because he was collecting a lot of stuff, and I just kind of noticed the puzzle pieces. I'm like, whoa. And we found a lot of examples following the same principles. So it's not like I'm just seeing one thing. I mean, he had a lot of different goo collections, and we kind of realized that it was following a trend.
Definitely seen the green goo and the purple goo. I'm not sure about black goo yet.
Well, black goo has to do with the consciousness of Satan. It's like the
symbol, but I don't know if I've seen teenagers playing with black.
Yeah, it's not teenagers. They're fully grown adults at that point. Yeah, like the movie Lucy, like any of the movies that have black goo, it's always adults. Yeah. It's always adults.
Contact, where they speak to those aliens, they kind of speak with black goo on the screen, don't they? On the glass between them. Have you seen that? Is it Contact or Arrival? That might be it. The alien's language is black goo that spurted out of one of their tentacles into a circle symbol on the glass.
Not surprised.
Anybody remember whose tombstone in the last few years ago that became black? Oops. They were finding black goo supposedly there in this guy's tombstone. I can't remember.
That it was like oozing black goo out of it?
Yeah, and I'm saying tombstone. I don't mean to say tombstone because I'm half freaking asleep. What am I looking for? What's the word?
I think you're right. Yeah, green is the earth. Then you ascend to the purple and the neon. That's the sky with the fireworks. And then you ascend right up into the void. That's the blackness, the Saturn.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not really sure. Yeah, like for example, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Ivan Ooze, he had the purple goo. That's for like teenagers. There's a lot of examples. You'd be surprised.
Slimer, Ghostbusters.
Right. Slimer, that's a cartoon. That's for children. Yep. Yep. Like some of these meanings are kind of universal, but you'd be surprised how much they correlate with age. And it's always about themed media where the theme is getting these children to participate in magic or accept it as like reality in some way. Like basically to believe the cartoon is real and make it manifest kind of a thing.
You've got witches what used to put plant material all over their body so they'd turn green. I know that's not children related. That's people turning green. Then you've got the Hindu Eastern gods that are all blue. It's similar to purple.
Okay, Stacy. So I heard about this one. There was supposedly some big black tomb, or like some big box or tomb, right? In one of the somewhere in Egypt. It's underground
Like
somewhere.
Osiris's tomb. It was some like big known person or something.
Yeah.
Something.
Well, I guess what they're claiming, right, is that the top of the tomb was open, and I guess shit disappeared.
Right. You know what I'm talking about then. Exactly.
I heard about that.
That story. And there was an actual guy who was going to take samples of this stuff and to check in on it. And I don't know if it actually happened, if it's gone or some, of course, conveniently it's gone. Bullshit.
Yeah.
But the Egyptians used black goo and some of the time to use them on the tombs too and paint the tombs and all that stuff. So it was used ritually.
Yes. Some mad oil stuff. Maybe.
There's got to be a video of this.
Black magic, obviously black goo from the black sands of Egypt, right? Next to the Nile. Is it? I mean black? I think that's right. So some of their anointing oil for their pharaohs was actually black goo. That's quite weird.
Your mom is some anointing oil. That was a bad joke.
Well, these are holy oil. I thought it was holy oils. Human fluid.
Yeah, maybe I can find this clip of the guy talking about finding it. It's on some show, like Ancient Aliens or some shit. It was on something pretty mainstream, I think. That's why I don't really believe all that stuff. But it still was reported.
Body missing after a while too. It was gone. That was the story as well.
I think it was the whole thing inside of the box was gone. It was one of those massive boxes that are like 100 tons.
Yeah, and it was like covered inside with black goo everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, or something, as it basically popped open, and supposedly this Osiris or whoever is gone. And I'm like, oh, come on.
I don't know the story very well anymore.
Yeah, it was a few years back. I can't remember either now. Even before I met you, before I met people in the community. I think it's been like 3 at least or 4 years ago. I can't remember.
I see it the same as Jesus. So the high priests in the cult put the body there. They believe in resurrection. They remove the body overnight. They say to people, look, it's gone. It worked.
Well, I think the argument for that story the argument the guy made was something like, well, I came back the next day and it was gone. And it was the kind of thing that I guess you couldn't move quickly, especially with the weight of the tomb. Oh, I think I remember. Okay, so the box was closed and there was black goo oozing out of it. And then when they came back the next day, the tomb was open and there was nothing inside the box. I think that was the story. Because like that the cover for the tomb was like it was like 50 tons or some shit. It's like you can't move that. So the fact that it had been moved overnight was kind of like, well, where the fuck are their tools? Did something just crawl out? You know?
And I've been trying to bring up this story for a while, but nobody knows what I'm talking about because a lot of people I don't think have watched it. But I was with somebody kind of mainstream at that time who was into all those types of things. But I don't think they were watching it through that. I think they were watching it through like Leak Project. This is why I don't really watch Leak Project either, because it's a lot of mainstream mixing with stuff that we talk about. And I don't always agree with the outcome or how they think about it. I'm like, no, that's just for money and for people to believe the mainstream. So be careful what you watch.
Downloading it out of your brain.
Whatever.
I have to look for it. Maybe I can find it. I remember the video, like, the guys appeared to be pretty freaked out. Like, telling the story. I think that's what happened. Oh,
I never really heard about black goo until then. And then now that we're talking about it all now in the community recently and what we've seen and supposedly what's linked to, makes me kind of question what the hell's going on though.
That was my first black goo encounter. Like I also didn't think much of it. I'd never heard of black goo before that. Yeah.
Same. So was that them just trying to program our heads being ready for it? Because they do that shit, right?
Yeah, of course.
I have a clip in my witchcraft video that Mel made. And there's a weird hippie witch punk stirring a big pot, and the pot's full of black goo.
Ooh.
This is how they create conspiracies within conspiracies, and then they laugh at us and they're like, haha, y'all don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they create this and they make us talk about shit, and then we look like fools, but this is what they do.
Did you guys read the Snopes link? So it basically says, oh yeah, this conspiracy is nonsense, but it doesn't say why. It just makes an argument out of ignorance. It just comes up with an explanation without actually knowing. It says, well, it could have been this, could have been that, you know. But then at the bottom of the page, it basically confirms everything that the conspiracy said about the flight 370, Malaysia 370, and that there were 4 patent holders, and that they did work for a BlackRock company, and that like all the facts were true. But yeah, it's not a conspiracy.
They're on our side. That's a good feeling.
They do that shit all the time. They're like, oh, no, false, X. And then they basically just tell you it's true at the end of it. And when you open up Snopes now, like if I refresh, I get a big pop-up on my screen that says, stop conspiracy theorists with us. Literally covers my whole screen. Be a fact checker. Join us. Join us. Join Moloch.
Another thing that I find satisfying is Sky News YouTube channel. Today they put up a video about booster shots for the UK. Anyway, I looked straight at the dislike and like ratio. 200 likes, 2,500 dislikes. Every single comment is saying, no, you're insane. No, you're liars. This is a good stage in the Great Awakening. We haven't actually done anything about it yet, but we are vocalizing and telling the news companies we don't believe them anymore. Imagine, owning the sun and slowly losing heart as you read every single comment disagrees with you. They have to have a meeting. Say, listen, guys, they know we're fake now. So we just carry on.
The Earth isn't flat or round. It's fucked.
The Earth will be fine. Humanity is fucked.
Have you guys seen this YouTube channel, Owl Kitty?
No.
Oh, it's cute.
No.
I'm gonna post the best one I've seen so far. It's actually pretty good.
I've got a Christian YouTuber friend who likes to interview people with opinions. And if anyone wants to do a flat Earth interview, I can probably arrange it.
All right, somebody tell me they watched that. Okay.
Yeah, it's well done.
Oh, I feel better. Thank you, Don.
Cats make great memes, don't they? Cats and dogs. Oh, this is pretty mad. Channel called Netflix is a joke, which is called Shit Channel, but they have a series called different movies written by bots.
Oh yeah, written by bots. Sure.
That's great.
Nice theme. Yeah.
It's sort of uncanny. It reminds me of like the news and how reality is scripted. Just randomized facts, all randomized, and then spat out.
What the fuck?
This will blow your mind, Riggs. It's pretty mad.
I am Mr. Puzzles. What a fucking name. Mr. Puzzles.
His thing, you failed game.
Do you want to be a gamer?
Press his consequence button. That's like God pressing the consequence button.
Chair saws. Jennifers always have bodies. Wow.
Just imagine, Riggs, that the real news we watch is written like this.
but better. Yeah, you know what? I'm actually to the point where I think that they have come up with all the technology they need to press a button, and it's got a story, it's got lighting, it's got actors, and it follows the script. And they've got all these different scripts built up in the background, and it's just AI. I have no doubt that at some point that shit is already being done. That's the fucked up part, because like we were telling, dude, Don, we were telling people this shit 5 years ago because we were showing people that they were faking space, and the urgency about flat Earth. The whole reason flat Earth existed was because we had to tell people that very soon you're not going to be able to tell what is real and what isn't. Yeah, and we had to get it out now, and that's why flat Earth blew up so fast. Because we had all this fucking pent-up footage of space being fake. And we needed people to know, because it breaks down all the lies. And now they've got, like, television interviews that is just somebody sitting in a green screen, and their face isn't even in their face, and their voice is modulated, and they're just reading a fucking script, and they're actors.
The news is like, woman died on ventilator, cat stuck up a tree, man murdered, trains, special trains to carry wine, low on crisps, truck drivers, and I mean, it's all just randomized and then puked out.
Yeah, but this is the free version. You know, like this isn't the Pentagon version.
It's lots of uncanny valley stuff happening. That concert that Stacey brought up, it's bad. People died and they got crushed. It's satanic, but also it's called Astro Festival. He's like putting himself up as like an angel, like floating in the sky while he's rapping. They think they're going to like a special astro world. It's really just terrible music.
Dude, when people die, they're going to be really disappointed. They're like, oh, fuck, I got to do that over again? Or I've got to live in infinite sadness to pay for all the shit that I did? Like, their karma is in the garbage.
Got some shocks to come when they cross over.
Yeah, there's some dues to be paid, and people are going to be very disappointed.
You failed flat Earth game. Consequence. Dawn pushes
Wait, it says that?
button.
I haven't watched the thing yet. It says
You now
you
must
failed
be
flat Earth
Brenda's
game?
dog.
Dawn pushes consequence button.
Don't fuck with me, man. It actually says you failed flat Earth game?
No, that was just me ripping.
Okay.
But he does, it's all a twist and everything's a game. And he's always pushing the consequence button.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he calls it puzzle, right, instead of game. You failed the flat Earth puzzle.
Puzzle.
Consequence.
Puzzle. Puzzle.
You guys are freaking me out.
Stoner one, which is also really good.
Wait, so is this new? I'm not inside.
I don't know. I saw it recently and watched all 5 of them. I think they made it over the last year.
Oh, there's 5. Okay, scary.
There's a holiday one, a romance one, a stoner one.
Okay.
It's obviously funny and entertaining, but I found it quite fascinating the way it's randomized and the way the same story and hero sort of journey pattern comes up even from a randomized bot if you fill it with enough information first. So maybe you could make a whole religion with a bot just by putting loads of information in the right themes and then turning it on. It just makes up the full creation story with the god and all the actions and everything.
Well, you've seen Squid Game, right?
Yeah.
That's all the helpers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's their religion. That's all they ever known and understand.
Yeah, they're a bit like agents in the Matrix, almost, a tiny bit. I watched Christians expose Squid Game, and they mentioned some of the Gnostic themes. It's quite cool. Like all the money that comes down is in a golden ball above them, isn't it?
Well,
like
I noticed that. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if I tell some of the story, but like, there's a scene where like a couple of those drone guys were trying to take the body parts, right? So they were talking about the black market organ harvesting that's going on, but also both are true. It's not that both are the same, but both are true. That there is a society of people that live outside of us that have no idea we exist, but they also do the deeds. But then there's also another group of people who do the organ harvesting. It's not necessarily the same group.
Right,
but they put the themes in there.
People that do the action, and there's people higher up who planned and designed the action.
Right. And they design it around dates and numbers and rituals, and it's all quite orchestrated.
There's another cool bit. You know, the old man is apparently the dad of the games master. That's what some people think.
Yep, man.
The old man, number one.
Oh.
He's apparently the dad because he knows all about the game and he decided to go in. It's supposed to be his money and he was the god. But then the younger man sent his father into the world. So it's like opposite, like Gnosticism. Instead of God sending his son into the world, the younger games master sends his dad, and the dad chooses to go into the world. That's number one.
Interesting. I found it really, really, there's got to be some meaning behind that, because number one, and he's the last number and the first number. So I think you're right. There's like some meaning there.
Another weird meaning. I don't know if it means anything. The easiest shape to cut out of the honeycomb was the triangle, like a pyramid, like the Illuminati.
Yeah. Yeah. But all the shapes together make up a lot of the signs they use anyway, so.
Obviously, green light, maybe that plays into the green goo we were talking about earlier. When you
go, I don't think that does, because I think it plays into the theme that they just, they tell us when to go and they can tell us when to stop and they can do what they want. Yeah. I mean, that's the economy as far as I'm concerned.
But they've all got green tracksuits. Maybe that means, they're like based in material or earthbound, or they're taken as children, right? Because they're in green.
Well, Don, so I talked about this a few days ago, maybe a week ago or something. I want to get your feedback if I haven't already. I don't remember if you were there. So near the end, when it's just three of them, they could have said rule number 3, and they all could have left with the money.
I think you can stop the games, but you can't share the money. I don't know. I forgot.
Well, yeah, that's right. It goes. Okay, good point. It goes to everyone else. That's right. Yeah, but they could have stopped. That's the thing.
It will go into the next set of games. Just carry over.
No. They have plenty. They print the money. Money doesn't matter. Apparently, whoever does that fucking prints the money because they got more money than the government does. So, yeah. They don't seem to care about the money.
Sort of tribalism themed, when they turn the lights out at night, and they basically show them that tonight no one cares and you're all going to fight. Like, tonight you have to be a predator, not a prey.
Right.
So they're like pushing them into base animal instinct overnight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The weird sexual bit where they work out if you're not good at cutting the shape in the honeycomb, you can roughly cut it and then lick the other side.
Right, and just break the membrane, just falls out.
Yeah, that's a little bit. I can imagine loads of kids in the past sitting in the playground licking honeycomb, and I wonder if that's a weird game that adults invented. I don't know.
I think the whole point of that scene was kind of unnatural. I think that was just to the whole point of that scene was to give the protagonist like some presence because he was looked at as just kind of the bitch, but then after that everyone kind of looked up to him for being kind of smart.
Yeah, but he had to go to his base of sexual action win. I thought that was symbolic. I don't know why.
Wait, what was he remembering that he realized he could lick it? Like, what was he you said the base what?
When you're a kid and you play that game for real in the playground, that's the way some kids do it, by licking the back of their honeycomb.
Is it how they do it?
That's what I assumed. And then I thought, is this like a sexual game adults have invented? Watch children lick honeycomb.
No, I feel like that was just put in there to make him look smart so other people would follow him. Like that was the most unrealistic part of the whole show, to be honest. Unless you can come up with some meaning, I can't come up with
something
anything.
about men as children being perverted help them win the game. I think that's something.
Maybe you could have something. I don't know.
I think we should have a group session. I think we should have a group joint. I'll roll one.
Well, I mean, overall, I thought the show kind of sucked, but I watched it like I kept skipping forward and like just I watched it took me like a couple hours, but I watched like all 9 or whatever like really fast because I didn't want to dedicate a lot of time to it.
About episode 3, I think the bad dubbing actually added to it because it made it more uncanny, more cartoony, more archetypal rather than realistic. Loved it. Riggs, it cost 21 million. Does that seem like too much?
No, because they had some pretty elaborate sets.
Yeah, but let me tell you, it made 900 million. But straight back into
how is that? How did it make 900 million? I don't even see.
I don't know, because the New World Order sold it to every country. Every country was like, "Yep, give me that Hunger Games for the Netflix crowd."
All right, maybe.
Korea is now exciting.
You guys, I mean, do you guys do you know about the new Dexter?
Yes, I can't wait. I've been trying to catch my girlfriend up on the old Dexters.
Yeah, I used to be a fan of the old one, but that was before I was kind of awake to everything.
I read all the books and I fell in love with it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I imagine that's a different layer. That's cool.
I love the series really badly, even though it's cheesy.
Yeah, I really loved the series. My only problem is that after maybe like season 5, they focused on character building.
Yeah.
And that's always kind of a tactic. It's a cheesy tactic just to make more money.
I agree.
Yeah. That's actually where it diverts from the books, and Dexter's no longer the main character. They just got a show.
Yeah. After that one serial killer guy, the bald guy,
The Trinity killer.
Yeah, after the Trinity, I mean that was pretty much the end of Dexter for me. And unless they have a good season this time, I'm not gonna watch it again. I'll watch the first one to see if it's good.
I'll explain why I love it, because I think the battle he has inside is what we all have. I know we don't all kill people, but we all have base desires and want to be better, and we're all trying to be human. You know what I mean? Because none of us know what that means to be human.
Well, they rationalize murder.
We all partly have to act it and fake it to be human.
They're rationalizing murder in that TV show. They're making it okay. If you think someone's bad, you can kill them. That's basically what they're teaching everybody.
If you're removing garbage from the world, yeah.
Yeah, and so now they're going to turn us, you and I, into garbage because we know too much.
And a killer that you can like or look up to is now a hero.
Yeah, and the state. Yeah, so like anybody who, it's kind of like, you know, if you turn in somebody, if you're a snitch, they're going to reward you for turning somebody in for like wrong think.
For me, it's like shadow work, watching Dexter, thinking, oh, could I be that inside? And realizing, you know, everyone goes through this battle.
Well, they're kind of forcing it too.
Put me in that same situation with the inside knowledge. Of course, you're going to want to do something. If you know definitely someone's guilty of something, an atrocious thing, but they just can't, you know, get put in jail because of some technicality.
Exactly.
There's some vigilante or some force in the background that I'd like to think exists taking people out for sure. Should people judge
all the modern pedo hunters, you know, it's not the same level, but modern pedo hunters, the same type of vigilante spirit. Dexter is a sicko, but I just find it very informing to watch his journey and him talk to himself inside his own mind. And it's quite
It was a good show.
He talks to his invisible dad like a god, you know, and that's who gave him his code, he calls it, but that's like rules or religious law.
If you're able to first enjoy things, Dawn, and then critique them, and not just from the get-go just be all analytical with everything.
Yeah. When you learn that a lot of media is promoting the New Age and Satanism, an inversion of Christianity, magic and Gnosticism, a lot of people get put off and think, well, I can't watch any of it then anymore. But for me, I'm like, great, show me more.
Yeah.
I think a flat earther who loves God and is aware of the new world should still watch some of this stuff because it's just entertainment and you can learn from it.
I'm just saying, I hope you can enjoy it for what it is as well, without everything in the background.
I do.
Good.
Yeah, but I was sort of explaining why I enjoy Dexter, because I related to him as a character, and the overtones of him acting and talking to himself while he acts is just fascinating.
Oh yeah, well written and directed, even more well written than directed though, I think. But yeah. My 18-year-old is just going through all the X-Files, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I've not gone back to any of those yet. I'm sure they are good.
Seems so long ago.
used to have a half-naked Scully poster above my bed. Gillian Anderson, is it?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I had a stage in life about 3 or 4 or 5 years where I bought the FHM magazines.
You're right. That's funny, Dawn.
It would have been cooler to have Mulder, The Truth Is Out There, on my wall instead of half-naked Scully with a bad modelling shoot on my ceiling. That's the way it was.
I wonder what she got paid for that.
I
Gotta wonder what these people get paid to get their tits out.
think it was like a bikini shoot.
We are measuring the sun as well, Dawn. Trying to back up this guy and prove him wrong.
You have.
Or you've got... No, you are? Are you going to do it? I'm going to. Are you going to do it as well?
Right. No, I'm not going to. Are you going to? You measure.
Is your faith strong enough?
No, I love the sun. I just let it do what it does.
Fair enough. I'm glad it's the sun doing something and not us. I'm glad you agree on that.
Well, we all do something. Everyone does. It all does something.
Well, I suggest possibly not. In one model, it does nothing at all, literally. The sun does it all.
The Earth's doing what it does. It blows wind, the trees rustle, water flows, volcanoes heat up.
Trees rustle, I like it.
This is what Earth does.
It's the only word like that describes something that's a name. The leaves rustle. The leaves Peter. The leaves Stuart. The leaves Russell. It's just, that's fun. I should have passed it on. I ended up having it all. Sorry, my bad.
The clouds move. The Earth is doing stuff.
Do they though?
Yeah, the tides move. Clouds move.
Why can't we have our own personal electrodynamic tether? Why can't we just have this little fucking rod or pole or string that we fucking electrify and just hover up like a fucking spider? Why hasn't some cunt invented that? Sorry, watch the language.
I'd like a
Why
flying,
hasn't somebody
flying broom.
invented that? Well, why can't it be a tether? Because they actually exist, apparently.
I don't know about others. I had that idea when they wanted to put a big wire up a space lift and put a space lift up it.
No, that's ridiculous.
Like a few miles up, and then the lift goes up the wire into space. Instantly, I imagine what happens if a comet comes in and hits the wire.
Yeah, no,
and it twangs and whips down. Whips down on the people. They have to report on the news.
Because the odds of that are fucking very likely.
Our new space elevator has unfortunately snagged, broken, and whipped down and destroyed Africa.
Oh, and went twang. Yeah. Whipped Africa. Oh my god.
It was a good idea, but it's hasn't worked.
No, but it's just one of those carbon nanowires. Super strong. Probably got some graphene in there. I don't know. Super strong, fucking, but super light. It's not going to hurt anyone on the way down.
Built on a flat Earth. Just put a big Saturn up there with a platform really high, up into space near the dome or just past the barrier, where the air is really thin and you have to wear a mask. And then have an elevator that go up the wire, down again. And then on flat Earth, there's no chance of it snagging and whipping down because
well, they'll do that if they want to. Oh no, you see, I think they tried it once and too many birds got caught in it, so they went, nah, the greenies cancelled it.
Brett did a protest and shut it down.
Yeah, I think an eagle got taken out and they went, nah, that's it. One bird too many. Seriously, Dawn, where the fuck are the electrodynamic freaking tethers? I want one. You should be able to go down to bloody
I don't know
your
what
local bloody hardware store and buy one.
What is it?
You don't know what that is? Oh, wow. Well, you know how spiders do the ballooning thing? They put up that little bit of silk and then they can just fly. Did you know that?
Sort of
Look up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, if you want, just Google spider ballooning and you'll see exactly what I mean. But they've recreated that. They discovered what it was, and the spiders are able to put up like a little bit of silk and then like charge that bit of silk. And when they charge it, they can create like a difference in the surrounding environment and like go up and down. So they can fly around, these spiders. Anyway, they're doing that with weather balloons. So they've got these tethers on them. And they can actually control like the vertical up and down with these tethers. And so they can go into different winds. So they can, you know, if there's a stronger wind going a different direction just above, they can pop it up into that and move the balloon that way and then drop it down into a different wind going a different direction. And they can actually move these things around. I'm just thinking, where the fuck's ours? I want one of these tethers.
Some of this sounds true.
They're bragging about them on the internet.
You sure they're not just these spiders are not just catching the wind? The bit of web.
No. It's well established. No, it's well established. They put them in a tank and they electrified the surrounding area. And they changed all the voltage around them and they watched them go up and down. And then they reproduced it in real life. And they attached it to real life weather balloons.
Alright. What do you want one for? So you can like make a backpack.
Well, what do you reckon? You'd be able to just like turn the volume up and just go up and turn it down and drop down and just like, you know, float around. Check out the fucking plane. Bump into the bubble.
You could make a new like sport.
I'd love to bump into the bubble. Truman style, just bump into the bubble. Man on a tether. Yeah, it's you just up you go, down you go.
New extreme sport. Sponsored by GoPro.
I don't know how extreme it would be. Maybe if you lean forward on it like a Segway, it goes faster. I don't know. Lean back and it slows down. I'm not sure.
Control it round. Basically,
yeah, it's more of just a vertical thing. It's a vertical, up and down. I don't know how you'd. Or maybe if you had 4 of them on the corner of like a little, you know, a little hovercraft thing, but you have instead of turbines or rotors, you've just got 4 tethers.
Nazis probably had this already.
Corner. That's a sound it will probably make.
I reckon the Nazis already got this.
Fucking meet George Jetson, mate. His boy Elroy. Mm. Where's that daughter Judy? She wasn't too bad, eh? She was alright. I had Judy pretty well proportioned in that cartoon. Oh, really? There was an error. Why was there an error? Interesting. Well then, I guess that's that. You're looking it up, aren't you? You need to know. Can't blame you. It was a pretty exciting thought. Head down to your local hardware store and pick up a tether and just fucking get around.
Unfortunately, the Rothschilds have already patented the tether buying system.
Really?
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me, mate. But on the other hand, no, I don't do that. On the other hand, I mean, what the Rothschilds don't know won't hurt them, surely.
Right, we could make our own.
That's right. Well, I could make my own. I don't know about you, your capabilities, but
No,
I could
don't
make
really
my own.
stuff much.
You don't really make stuff. I like that.
I'll need to see you
Hey,
doing
when I
full
make mine,
test
I'll
flight
fucking show
first.
you. Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. I'd need to see that too. But I mean, I'm sure I personally would weigh less than a weather fucking balloon. Surely.
Have you seen
And
the
if they
drone?
can do it.
Personal drones you
I don't know
fly
how
with?
long these tethers are. Shit, they might be a mile long. I don't know. Oh shit. Wouldn't that suck if the tethers have to be a mile long? You have to go and find
No,
a
man.
mountain to jump off.
It depends on the voltage, right? Like if they had a good energy source, it might do pretty well.
Yeah, but what? You're taking up lipos with you? You're just gonna have a battery pack with you?
Well, you don't have to have like one large tether. You could just have a bunch of different strings, and it could be short, like a balloon. You see what I mean?
Interesting. Or
Yeah.
underneath a platform. And then you can sit on the platform. Oh, hang on. A flying carpet. Because that's made of strings. Right. That's it. We're making a flying fucking carpet. Boom. Flat Earth. Flying carpet. Well done, boys. That's nice.
Bro, it's like a real thing.
Celebrate with another doobie.
It's a real thing.
I'll pass this one around, I promise.
Man, I just hit the pipe pretty good. So I'm right there with you.
Oh man, I want to get stoned now.
Yeah, well, so you should do.
I've got a DJ set to practice. That's what I told myself I'd do today. So the more I get stoned, the more I'll put it off.
But fucking That video I saw that fucking you and Mel put together.